those children is that they were very determined to stay with me to the end.
No one dropped off.
No one dropped off. It's been a journey of ups and downs, meeting people who don't believe in me, first of all.
Why did you, not give up?
I didn't have an option. I was afraid of giving up, and maybe I'm giving up on something that will work.
So we have that in Aqueous State Plus.
My students, they struggled. They really struggled, but they made it. But what I loved about those children is that they were very determined to stay with me to the end.
No one dropped off.
No one dropped off.
A groundbreaking achievement in education is making headlines across the globe. Rose Tata Wekesa, a teacher at St. Austin's Academy, Nairobi, Kenya, has captivated audiences by delivering a marathon science lesson of over 62 hours straight. Wekesa's tireless commitment to education has left the world in awe. Hello and welcome to Globe Traction. My name is Pasil Telewa, and tonight we host Rose Wekesa, who shares her motivation behind this monumental feat that might see her entered into the Guinness Book of Records for conducting the longest science lesson ever, besides her personal backstory. I hope you enjoy. Nice meeting you finally.
Thank you.
Face to face.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you know why we are talking to each other right now. However, before we start, please introduce yourself.
My name is Tata Wekesa. I'm a teacher, a mother, a wife, and a woman who is attempting great things.
I can see it's a woman who is attempting great things. And just the other day, less than a week ago, we're talking about the Guinness World Records.
Yes.
How did you think about attempting Guinness World Records for the longest science lesson ever?
I used to see the Guinness Book of World Records. I would even read it. I remember there's a time there used to be a show also.
Yeah, they still run shows. Yeah,
the shows are still there.
Yes.
So I thought Guinness World Records are for people who have weird traits, like the longest nails, the biggest mouth, such things.
Yeah.
Until I saw this lady in Nigeria cooking. And then it got me thinking because...
Hilda.
Yes, Hilda. Yeah. It got me thinking because I've always wanted to do something significant. Because me, I love greatness. I want to be a great person. So I knew for me to be great, I have to do something out of this world. And I have to place myself on a global market. So I just went to their website one time in June. And I started searching for the records, and I realized there is no record for longest science lesson. I'm a science teacher. I teach biology and chemistry.
Yeah.
So I applied. I paid whatever I needed to pay, and then in September I got a rejection.
Wait, how much did you pay?
Some dollars, I think $45.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is like the application fee.
Yes.
Yes. So what was the explanation for the rejection in November?
Yeah, so they were saying that I don't know, the area that I've applied in cannot be is not the record is not measurable, and they were saying that the area is not competitive.
Yes. What had you applied initially?
I had applied to do the longest biology and chemistry lesson. So I replied to them and I asked them why would they say that there's no competition in science? Yet life is science and everything we do is based on science.
Yes.
So I told them, according to me, their reasons for the rejection are not valid.
Yes.
And of course I knew, like, even if I tell them that, the worst they will do is to reject again.
Reject, yeah.
Yeah, then, but at the end of my ranting, because it was like a ranting email, a ranting response.
Yes.
Yani nilikasirika because I was wondering, how can you deny me a chance to do this? And you know how science is important. Medicine is based on science. Engineering is based on science.
Almost everything is based on science.
Even, telecommunications. Even entertainment, because how do we run all these cameras and everything? That is physics.
Yeah.
You know, so I said, let me reply to these guys. Let me give them a piece of my mind. I told them their reasons are not valid, and I would want to know what I should do so that I can get an opportunity.
You can attempt.
Yes,
a record, yeah.
So that was in September. So a month later, I get an acceptance. But now they changed the title of the record to longest science lesson.
Oh, so perhaps they didn't want you to specify biology or chemistry.
That's what I learned.
Yeah, they just wanted you to talk about the longest science teacher.
Yes.
Amazing. And then you started. How did you now begin, your journey from now them giving you, perhaps you attempt the longest science teacher. So when did you start the preparation for that?
So as soon as I got the acceptance, I remember it was on a Thursday evening, on 31st October.
Ooh, unakumbuka hadi tarehe.
I remember the details. I even remember the date I applied. It was 13th June.
Ooh, so
that's how dear this was to me.
Yeah.
The first thing you should do once you get an acceptance, okay, first of all, you should not announce to the public that you're intending to do a Guinness World Record.
Because there's going to be a competitor.
Yes. Yeah. If they have not sent you an official acceptance. So you have to keep quiet until you get that email that I got on 31st October. So when you get that email, you're allowed now even to hold a press conference and say that you have received acceptance to do this and that.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I screenshot because Kenyans love evidence. I screenshot the email and I posted on my social media, and my journey of planning this thing began. It's been a journey of ups and downs, meeting people who don't believe in me, first of all.
And wondering why the heck you're even talking about that.
Yes. Yeah. And even the other day after I did it, somebody posted on Facebook and said, posted my photo and, the hours I did. And they said, she said, I don't know why we didn't believe in her when she said she wanted to do it.
Does it actually, I think I'm going to come to that later, because I know there are going to be those kind of people, at some point, wherever you go in life. But let's talk about the preparation. What strings did you have to pull to make sure that your Guinness World Record attempt is successful? Because you alone cannot do it. And, it's a lot of, people involved. So what did you have to do?
The first thing I made sure is that I had the support of my spouse. Because according to me, trying to do such a thing without family support can be very tough.
So you had to tell Victor, come here. There's something I'm attempting here.
Yeah, he knew the process. Yeah. When I applied, I told him. When I got the rejection, I told him. And when I got the acceptance, I told him. So he has always been excited about. He has been very excited. Yeah. He never thought that someone can, do that. So it was something also new to him, and he was excited. He wanted to see what will come out of it. Yeah, so that was the first thing I did. The second thing I did, I brought in a few people and formed a committee, people that I was almost sure they would stand with me to the end.
Yes.
Yeah, so then I kept on doing a lot of social media posts. I wrote emails, let me tell you. I wrote, if I was to get replies from all the people I requested to support me, I think it would have been bigger than it was.
Major.
Yeah. So I wrote so many emails requesting for support, started going for meetings, looking for funds, because the event was over 2 million shillings. It was 3 million.
The budget.
Yeah, the budget, because you must have a medical services team there throughout.
So now that we are getting to the nitty-gritties of everything, behind the scenes, I call them, we are speaking about you prepping for the big day. Have you now chosen the dates that you're going to have this big day done? And what is it that you need to prep before the big day, in terms of just you as an individual, the team that will be, in your class, because you need students. And I think the record was talking of you don't need to have less than 15 students, right?
Less than 10.
Less than 10 at a go.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are talking of making sure you have students that are in and they're not dropping off, at least 10 every moment.
Yes.
And what about the staff to provide food? What about the snacks? What about the medical services? Fill me in, because I'm super curious. I want to know how you killed it.
Yeah. So first of all, we needed branding.
Yes.
I knew that I wanted this to go on air. I have a YouTube channel that aired this throughout. In fact, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can watch from the time we hit the start button to when we hit the stop button.
Yes.
We had continuous live streaming. So I knew that I want the videos to look nice. So I wanted my students to be dressed in a particular way. I wanted them to wear T-shirts like what I am wearing now. I wanted them to wear hoodies at night because I was trying to imagine when it's cold at night, they'll come with all sorts of jackets. So it was really my desire to have a branded event. I knew it was going to be expensive, but I wrote it there down on the budget. Then food, I needed to feed them very well because this was not an endurance to stay hungry. So I needed them to eat almost after every 4 hours. We were doing the 3 main meals and 3 main snacks. So one way that I was able to meet that budget was by negotiating with the vendors until CPF came and funded all the branding.
Wow.
Yes.
Besides the branding, did you get any other support?
I got support from Mike Sonko,
Yes.
from Sonko Rescue Team.
Yeah.
He funded us financially. We were able to pay for food. We were able to buy some teaching and learning resources. I also got another friend who does not like being mentioned, who gave me money to buy stationery.
Yes.
Specifically stationery. I needed a lot of stationery. Now let me mention Semastea.
Yes.
Semastea is a Center for Mathematics and Science and Technology Education in Africa. They came in the last week, the last minute, and they really supported us, especially with specimen, lab apparatus, some of the chemicals we were using, and they gave us their lab technicians.
The reagents?
The reagents,
wow.
yes.
Yeah.
They gave us reagents. They gave us the fresh specimen, like we were dissecting a heart. I don't know if you saw.
Yes,
we dissected
a
kidney.
Yeah.
We were able to dissect a fish. So they came in. They came in at the last minute. I always feel like
bomb.
That was God's way of just sorting me out the last minute.
and I think there's something about you believing in yourself, which gets me to wonder, why did you not give up, for instance, while you're going for all of this?
I didn't have an option. I was afraid of giving up, and maybe I'm giving up on something that will work. I'm so happy I didn't give up. If I'd given up, I don't think I would forgive myself.
So we have that in aqueous state plus, magnesium hydroxide in aqueous state as well. Aqueous means what?
There's something about women, math and sciences, and you've really, painted sort of a really positive picture when it comes to that. And you had me laugh about it prior to us sitting down about, I know you and I've been interested in you. And that is the bit that I'm really impressed about you. How was it for you growing up, and how did you even find yourself pursuing math, pursuing sciences as a lady?
I used to do very well academically. Being raised by a teacher, my dad didn't give me options. It was about education in the morning and in the evening.
Yeah.
He showed me, nowadays the way we are raising children, it's like we are showing them there are other options. You can be an influencer, you can do TikTok and get followers and get money. We are trying to show them like there are options, but for me, my dad didn't show me other options. So, and I remember one time he sat me down and told me, if you don't get a grade to go to the university, I don't have money to take you to those private institutions.
Yeah.
So you'll just go to the local center here, learn how to plait hair, and
get married and go
married in this village.
Yeah.
Then we will be seeing each other when you're still around. So, that one.
That is a tough teacher,
Yeah, it awakened me. I knew, first of all, I knew I don't want to end up in that village, especially with a boy from that village.
So, which village was that?
Where? Nakuru. Nakuru, Kabazi.
Yes.
And not that there was anything wrong with the boys there, but like nile tu, nataka tu.
You want to explore the world.
Exactly, yeah. So, and these are boys we were with in primary school. So in my head, I was thinking, okay.
Nijipate.
Anyway, yeah. So he didn't give me options. Then the love for teaching has been in me since I was a young girl. Sometimes I would even pretend I'm teaching the cows. When I arrived in school when I was in class 1, I would take a stick and then take my classmates through all the charts in the class. The mathematics charts, the science charts, the English charts.
Yeah.
I just loved imparting knowledge.
Yeah. From Bahati girls, you told me you're in Bahati.
Yes.
How were your grades?
They were good. I
And
got
what
an
did you
A
think
minus
of,
in Form 4.
congratulations. What did you
Yes.
think of pursuing?
I was thinking I should do medicine.
Yes.
Okay. Even when I was working hard, I thought, let me work hard so that I do medicine. But that doing medicine was because people were telling me, become a doctor, become a doctor. But what I loved was being a teacher.
A teacher.
Yeah, so when I had a bad experience in a hospital.
What bad experience was that?
We took my dad in hospital on a Thursday night at 1 a.m. after he had collapsed in the house.
Sorry.
And he was not touched by any doctor until Saturday 8 p.m.
What happened? Was
That is
the
what
hospital on strike or something?
No. It's just,
what was the problem?
I don't know. And I decided, because I'm not this kind of person, I don't want to be in such institutions. I'm seeing somebody's father on a bed and I'm not attending to them. Yet I am a doctor who has been trained for that purpose. I felt that was very inhuman, and it put me off, let me say.
So you are like, even if people are talking about being a doctor, I don't want to be a doctor
I didn't
anymore.
want to become a doctor. So when the time came to choose courses, by the way, Pasil, I had very good grades. If I show you those grades, you won't believe.
I know you're telling me of an A minus.
It's only Swahili that I got a B.
Now I would have been your Swahili teacher because I'm the Swahili one.
Okay.
But besides that, you've always been a smart kid, and I'm thinking of you now getting to becoming a teacher, and you still wanna, I mean, you getting into the university and you still wanna pursue, you know, these sciences. Why did you stick around?
I stuck around sciences because I knew those who want to become doctors have to do biology and chemistry. So I decided, because I've made a decision not to become a doctor, I'll be a teacher of people who want to become doctors. So that's how I ended up choosing biology and chemistry. So I felt like in the process of teaching them biology and chemistry, I'll be able to teach them other skills and other values that will make them not behave like the doctors who mishandled my father. So I felt I'll make an impact in their minds and in their mindset as a teacher more than the impact I would make as a doctor. So as a doctor, I would have made money, but I would not have made impact.
Yes.
So I chose impact over money.
That is so. That is so different, you know, hearing it from a younger person like you, because I think also the world right now, you know, has people with lots of mindset drawn towards, you know, the financial, you know, achievements. And also there is the perception in Kenya about, you know, being Kikuyu and, you know, the love for the, you know, finances and those kind of things. And I think it's a really good thing to hear that people just have assumptions, and assumptions are not reality. But away from that, you also have family, Rose.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a teacher who is attempting Guinness World Record, and people are seeing you as this young girl. However, you have stuff going on. So tell me about your family and everything.
Yeah, I'm married 11 years now to Pastor Victor Wekesa.
Yes.
And we have 3 beautiful daughters. Victoria Zuri is 9 years old. Vanessa Zoe is 7 years old, and Valerie Olive is 3 years old. Those are my babies.
Those are your babies.
Yes.
When you're not being so serious in sciences, you're taking care of them.
Yes.
Yeah. So how has it been for you? This is a silly question because I tend to tell people, can you stop asking women about this? But then I'm like, this is a science girl. She's also a wife. She's also a mother. How is she managing to balance?
Balancing is not easy. There are many times I get overwhelmed, especially when now, towards the end of last year, I knew I even have to have 2 helpers at home, because I knew January and February will be crazy. Because having 3 children and you have 1 helper in the house, it means you have to come from work and get home and continue with some work. Because the kids need to do homework. We need to cook.
They need to eat. They need to go to bed, take shower.
There's a lot of work. There's ironing to be done, laundry to be done. Basically, I mean, one person cannot manage this house and the children. So I now have 2 helpers. I've had to keep 2 helpers so that I am free. So 1 helper is designated to the children and their affairs, and the other one does cleaning and the other work.
What challenges did you face while going through all of this experience?
Rejection. Yeah. I've learned how to handle rejection. I've seen people who do not believe in me, and then they show up the last day. They show up.
No embarrassment. They
None.
showing up. Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Yeah. And still, that's just the negative I've said. The positive, I've seen strangers believe in me.
Cheers to strangers believing in you.
Cheers.
So there is something in the book about a prophet being rejected in their own hometown.
Yes.
So did you relate a lot to that scripture? Now that
did.
your husband is a pastor, I'm mentioning that because I know Victor is a pastor. Did you experience and relate to that scripture?
I did, but the scripture I related to the most is Jeremiah 17 from verse 5 to verse 8.
What does it say?
It says that cursed is the man who sets his eyes on another man, whose hope is in another man. But blessed is he who trusts in the Lord, because he will be like a tree planted by the riverside that bears fruit in and out of season.
And never withers.
And never withers.
Yeah.
I also remember the Lord telling the Israelites to be still and know that he is Lord. If I tell you that by the time we were entering 2024, I didn't even have one sponsor, you will not believe it. And other people thought I'm doing this for money. I want to say before the whole world, I did not do this for money. If I was doing it for money, this is not what people do for money. There are other things I would have done for money. I did this so that I can get a name in science. Then once that name comes, I can make the impact I want to make. Yes.
Tell me about the positive things, Rose. Yeah. What challenges did you face that, made you think otherwise?
While planning?
Yeah.
You see, this thing was beyond me.
Yeah.
And I could not afford it. So when I saw like I'm not getting the support I need, there's actually two particular rejections I experienced, and I didn't see them coming. They offset me, and at some point I contemplated changing it. Postponing this event.
Yes.
It's my husband who said we cannot postpone it.
We have
because
to keep
this thing
going.
is eating our minds. Let's do it the way we'll do it, and then we'll know what happens.
How did you manage to pull the multimedia university into your project?
Yeah, a friend. First of all, I had looked for a venue for 2.5 months. And every time I would approach an institution and tell them I'm doing this, they would see a money-making opportunity. There's actually one institution that charged me almost $1 million to
use their laboratories.
Yeah, to do the event, because it's not just the lab.
Yeah.
We would use the parking, we would use their toilets, we would use their hall to feed from, we would use their auditorium where we would contain the public that comes to view the event. And I was telling them, why don't you just let me do this here and see how the name of your school will be mentioned all over the world. Anyway, so a friend of mine mentioned to me, okay, our church is in Rongai, Harvest Family Church.
Yeah.
And I live in Langata. So every time I'm going to church, I pass right outside multimedia. But it never occurred to me that I can do this event in multimedia. First of all, being a government institution, I didn't know how I would penetrate until I get permission. There's this idea about government institutions that they are impenetrable.
Yeah.
So my friend suggested, actually the lady who did catering, her name is Melody. She suggested to me one evening, we were just right there outside church, and she told me, why don't you do this event in MMU? I told her, really? And in my head, like I thought I'm supposed to do this event in a very new and a very modernized institution.
You're looking of glam.
Yeah,
a
the
nice
glam,
building.
the cabros, the whatever.
Yeah.
Then when she told me, because I was desperate, I told her, we can go and check. Like, actually going to check MMU was because I didn't want to disappoint her.
And look at you now.
Yes, because I didn't want to disappoint her. So we went on January 9th, I think. And we met a very, very supportive chair of department, Dr. Eric Njogu. And the moment we mentioned the idea to him, he bought it.
He was game. Yeah. And then you went ahead to select and identify the students that are going to take part in that, Tell me, how was the casting? I want to call it casting because you can't just go out and be like, hey, 10 of you or 20 of you come over, let's do this. Yeah.
Yes.
So how did the process go for you?
Okay, so I gave Dr. Eric Njogu my specifications.
Yes.
And he got me his chemistry students from MMU.
Wow.
He briefed them about what is expected. Number one, he told them this is a voluntary opportunity.
So there's no pay.
Yeah. You may gain something, but you may live there with nothing. So they agreed. So the ones who agreed, we took them, like I think 10 of them. Then a few came from my church. I was given an opportunity to make an announcement during the youth service.
Yeah, you know, you're the pastor's wife.
Pastor's wife, you know. Yeah, so I announced that I'm doing this and I need volunteers. So I got a few to volunteer.
Yeah.
Then I also announced on my social media. Yeah, and that's how my class became full. So many had registered, I think like 30-something.
Yeah.
But as we approached the event, they kept
People are dropping off.
Wakaogopa, wengine wakaogopa. Like when I told them, you know, you'll have to be awake for over 60 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. What is it that you are looking forward for this whole day to go like? Because there is so much to do with your adversity quotient, which you had to prepare for. Because you are telling me you needed to train your body to know that it needs to stay awake that long. You need to train your body to know that you need to dress up and, you know, prepare for this long. So at what point did you start, you know, dealing with your adversity quotient, basically?
I started in December.
Last year?
Yes. The first time I tried staying for 24 hours without sleeping, I tried doing it at home, and it backfired. My husband entered the house at around 11 p.m. and found me already asleep. And it's 11 p.m.
11.
And I'm supposed to stay awake until the next day. And he told me, "Oi, just please go to bed. Go and sleep. You've already spoiled the whole thing. You've already slept." So that was my first attempt.
Yeah.
We laugh about it to date, but anyway, it was the first step. I tried. So the next endurance I did was for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Which I did at work. I woke up on a Tuesday morning, went to work, carried clothes for the next day. And in the evening, I put my children in the school van and they came home and they left me at work. I spent the night in the office alone.
Only that in this case, not teaching.
Yeah, not teaching.
Yeah, but
for me, I didn't need to rehearse teaching because I've been teaching for over a decade. Even now, if you tell me to teach you structure and bonding.
Thank you so much for your time, Rose.
Asante.
I know we would have spoken and spoken all day long.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate that you created time for me today.
Yes.
And while you keep breaking records, I'm just going to be here to cheer you. Because I want you to keep warm.
Oh, wow.
Even while you break the records.
Oh, wow.
So put it on. Let me see if it fits.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You
didn't
deserve
expect
better.
this.
You deserve more.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You deserve more. How are your students reacting? How are they responding? I've watched bits of what was going on.
Yes.
People yawning and doing all sorts of things.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
How are you ensuring that things...
The stories are just incredible.
I know, tell me. Give me all the juiciness because I'm tempted to step out. But I also don't want to step out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I want to keep staying with you and just talking about this over and over. So fill me in.
Wow. The first day they were excited
Yes.
when we started the lesson. The first night nobody slept. Nobody was yawning. And then you know what happens is when the sun comes up, sleep goes because there's a sleep hormone. So when the sun comes up, that's why you wake up when the sun comes up because the sleep hormone diminishes. And that's why at night you automatically become sleepy because the darkness comes with now the body adjusts and starts producing that sleep hormone.
Yeah.
So during the day, I didn't struggle much with my students. But the second night, I had prepared them.
Yes.
I told them the second night will be bad.
Yes.
It will be crazy. My students, they struggled. They really struggled, but they made it. I found one writing while her eyes were closed. Like I'm dictating notes and she's writing with her eyes closed. But what I loved about those children is that they were very determined to stay with me to the end.
No one dropped off.
No one dropped off.
One fell sick.
There's one who, when he gets overwhelmed with sleep, he would just go to the sink because in the lab we have sinks.
Yeah.
And wash his face. There's another one who would spend even almost 2 hours standing so that the sleep can go. And you know, we were not taking coffee. We were not taking coffee, and we were not taking any energy drink like Red Bull. We are not allowed. And we decided
You need to be as
will keep
natural
that
as
rule.
possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were in our natural element. So the second night was quite a struggle. What I loved about it is that we didn't feel cold. That's what I really thank God for, because I was afraid for those children. You know, to me, they are children because I'm like 15 years older than them.
I know. And
Yeah.
also where the location is meant to be very cold. You know, I hear that area is really cold. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, we were sitting on the high wooden stools with nowhere to lean.
Yeah,
on.
no backrest.
Let me tell you, it was really an endurance, but God saw us through. God saw us
What
through.
did your husband have to say about that?
He's amazed till now. He's amazed. He said he's proud of me, and I'm glad he is.
What about yourself? How do you feel about yourself?
I'm having thoughts of gratefulness. I'm grateful to God that he helped me do this. When I look back, I don't know how I stood for 62 hours. On the first day, St. John's Ambulance are the ones who sponsored the medical services.
Yeah.
When they did triage on me, because they're supposed to do triage.
During the breaks.
Yeah, during the breaks or anytime they feel there's a need. On the first day, the pressure was high. And they told me, go and relax. Before I even started the attempt, my blood pressure was high. And they said probably it's because you've been up and down since morning and all that, and probably anticipating. So I thought that as I thought, the pressure will calm down. So on the first night, my legs, out of nowhere, they started aching. And it was severe pain. And I can't stop. We've already done like 7 hours.
Yes, you can't stop.
I can't stop.
Yeah.
So I taught that lesson with pain on my feet and my legs and with high pressure. As at Thursday, the pressure was almost 160. It's supposed to be 130, I guess. Yeah, wow. So for me, I don't think I did it by my own strength. As at Wednesday, I didn't think my body can handle this up to Friday. I was starting to doubt, but I didn't verbalize it. I'm very careful. I rarely say anything negative by the way.
Yeah.
Even if this jumper was bad, I would not say it.
There's something about the Guinness, record, reviewing your record.
Evidence.
Yes. And evidence and all of that. Are you aware for how long they're going to review your evidence and when they're going to give back to you the title officially?
Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, organizing that evidence will take us over 1 week. We have the evidence raw. I don't think it can take less than a week. Then I have to scan. I wrote a workbook.
Yes.
I wrote the workbook we were using. I'm the one who compiled it. A 200 pages workbook.
Yeah.
So we have to remove the binding.
Yes.
And scan 10 samples, because I was supposed to have a minimum of 10 students. Scan them into PDFs, upload. Scan the exams we did, 10 of them, again into PDFs, upload.
You taught, and then they sat exams?
Yes, they did an exam of 1.5 hours.
Wow. Wow.
They did an exam of 1.5 hours.
So scan, send page by page.
Yeah, scan. Yeah. So like an exam, if it's your exam, we scan it and then it's one PDF document. So we'll have 10 PDF documents for the exam, 10 PDF documents for the workbooks, and then all the independent witness statements, which are like 40, and then timekeeper statements, which are like 40, then the photograph evidence, cover letter, and video evidence. So that's why I'm saying organizing that evidence will take over a week.
Yeah, actually,
or even maybe 2 weeks.
Close to a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, after that, after we upload, we are supposed to pay. We are supposed to pay around $1,500, $1,000 to $1,500.
Yeah.
For them to review our evidence.
Yes.
That's almost 200,000 now. We pay. Then they review our evidence and give us feedback in 10 working days. Yeah, so I don't think we'll get feedback before April, but let's see how
Let's see how it goes. When you become the official record holder, what are you entitled to? Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing, because Guinness World Record, first of all, they do not pay you.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they don't. If your country decides to appreciate you, that's okay. But what it gives you is a global platform. It gives you influence. Now, that influence is what can probably earn you something. You'll have the name, you'll have an opportunity to make an impact, you'll be a consultant for maybe many science bodies, and that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I'm looking at being a trainer, a motivator of teachers. So the fact that you're a record holder, there are no monetary benefits that come with it, but you get the influence. And for me, that's I was looking for the influence. Yeah. Because we can do other things and get money. But why go this direction?
Thank you, Rose. This is official. Thank you. And thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Quite inspiring indeed. I hope you learned something from Rose's story. Many thanks for watching the show today. And make sure you join us again next Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Kenyan time only on KTN News. And if you have a story you'd like to share with us, please don't hesitate. Write to us through globetraction@standardmedia.co.ke or DM us on our social media platforms at globetraction. You can also tap that follow button to me on my social media platforms at Fasil Telewa on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube for more behind the scenes and many other amazing stories. But until then, I hope to catch up with you again soon, same time, same place. Bye-bye for now.